So we are reading a sutta today. It's called Sabbasava Sutta. Sabba means all, asava means influxes, things that are oozing out, defilements, cankers. So those are different names asavas has. So defilements in Pali sometimes is translated as kleshas. Cankers is another English word for kleshas, also called kilesas sometimes. So this is a sutta that discusses about 7 ways to overcome them. So get your notepads ready. You are going to learn lists today. Thus have I heard, that's Venerable Ananda, the attendant monk of Buddha, saying that he heard this teaching like this. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. There he addressed the bhikkhus thus. Bhikkhus means male monastics, like Venerable Upali and I. There are bhikkhunis, that's the female monastics, not the other word that you know. Bikinis. So he said, bhikkhus, this is the Buddha. And bhikkhus responded, Venerable Sir, they replied, the Blessed One said this. Bhikkhus, I shall teach you a discourse on the restraint of all the taints. So this is Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation. Bhikkhu Sujato translated this as defilements, and Venerable Sudaso translated this as corruptions. So different monks have different interests, choices. Listen and attend closely to what I shall say. Yes, Venerable Sir, the bhikkhus replied. The Blessed One said this. Bhikkhus, I say that the destruction of the taints, T-A-I-N-T-S, taints, is for one who knows and sees. Janato passato. Knowing is janato, passato is seeing something. This is not seeing with your eyes. This is seeing with your eyes closed. This is seeing with your wisdom eye. There is work for that wisdom eye to do during this retreat. Because you close your eyes and meditate, but the wisdom eye is open and working and seeing things. Not for one who does not know and see. Then, naturally you think, what do we not know? What do we know? So that's the question comes to your mind. And so the Buddha raises that question and says, who knows and sees what? Who knows and sees what? Wise attention and unwise attention. Yoniso manasikara and ayoniso manasikara. These are important words to know when you study meditation from the suttas directly. So yoniso manasikara is translated into English as wise attention. Manasikara is attention. Yoni is a word for birth canal. place where things are born. So you look at the root causes of things. So is that word in English. It's like when you say, what's that? It's color-wise, or what would be a good? That didn't, do justice. Something like, that word wise is like it's like, if you take it this way, if you take it in terms of birth, it would be another word, another way to translate it. It's like birth-wise, in terms of birth. When you look at birth, origin, roots of things. In other words, you are looking at causes and conditions, dependent co-arising and cessation. These words, give yourself time to learn them if you have never heard them before. So, Ayoniso Manasikara is the opposite of it. That is unwise attention. Not looking at things closely and taking things personally and allowing your mind to behave the way it wants and not applying 6 R's and not developing mindfulness and allowing defilements to take control of your life. So, wise attention and unwise attention. When one attends unwisely, unarisen taints arise and arisen taints increase. So, in other words, when you don't 6R, unarisen defilements arise and arisen defilements increase. When you forget to 6R, you are just allowing things and you are forgetting one important aspect of the Eightfold Path, right effort. Okay? When one attends wisely, that means you are applying the 6 R's, unarisen taints do not arise and arisen taints are abandoned. That's the place where you are abandoning, letting go, not holding on to things, and wisely attending to things. Because there are taints, these are the 7 methods, and you see that developing is only one of them. Meditation is only one of them. Developing is called bhavana. Bhavana is what you do here, meditation, and it's only the last one, the 7th one. So, knowing that, you will need to know what other techniques, methods that you have as taught by the Buddha. So the first method is that there are taints that should be abandoned by seeing. This is called dasana, seeing. Dasana. There are taints that should be abandoned by restraining. Sangvara. This is sangvara, restrainment. Indriya sangvara, restraining your faculties. There are taints that should be abandoned by using. Patisevana. There are taints that should be abandoned by using. We will learn what they are and what that means. There are taints that should be abandoned by enduring. Adhivasana, enduring with patience and enduring. And David had a comment about this last night, and I think I can get your help when we get to it. There are taints that should be abandoned by avoiding, parivajjana, avoiding. There are taints that should be abandoned by removing, vinodana, removing. There are taints that should be abandoned by developing, bhavana. So these 7 methods. And then the Buddha explains one by one. We have about 3 pages to go, so you need to endure that. Taints to be abandoned by seeing. What taints, bhikkhus, should be abandoned by seeing? Here, bhikkhus, an untaught ordinary person. So that is a person who has never listened to a Dhamma talk. They have not learned TWIM. They have not learned 6 hours. So they have no knowledge of how to do this work. Who has no regard for noble ones. Noble ones is a term that is important in Buddhism. You become a noble person by developing noble qualities like Noble Eightfold Path, 4 noble truths. So, things that make you noble. I sometimes say that in Buddhist practice you only need to get 2 A passes and 2 S passes. You know what that means? So, 1 S pass is Sotapanna state. Stream winner. Sota is the stream. Apanna is entering the stream. And so, instead of getting carried away with the flood, you are going against it. Flood of defilements, flood of ignorance, flood of existence. These are things that you will learn eventually. And the second S is the Sakadagami state. Saka means once. So once returner. I think that's an O in English, but S in Pali. Sakadagami. Agami means returning once to the sensual world, because you have little anger that you need to remove and abandon, and you have some little desire, sensual desire that brought you back to the sensual realm. The A pass is anagami. That's called non-returner. Na agami becomes anagami, never returning, because you don't have aversion, you don't have sensual desire, so you have no reason to return to the sensual plane of existence, heavenly planes or human or any such plane of existence. If you put, I think that chart over there, right under Bhante's portrait, has all the planes of existences, like a stupa, like pagoda, that takes you up, 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 until you reach the top. That is non-existence, kind of like no bonding to any state. That's Nibbana. So the last A is arahanthood, becoming awakened, enlightened, and there's no desire for you to exist in any plane of existence. Anagamis, they can appear in a pure abode, a very happy state. So 2 A passes and 2 S passes. S is kind of like the lowest score. A pass is hard to get. It's like a distinction. PhD, yeah. Or else called permanently head damaged. PhD. No. Okay, so sorry for the distractions. Okay, seeing. What taints bhikkhus should be abandoned by seeing. Here, bhikkhus, an untaught ordinary person who has no regard for noble ones. So noble ones are those who have attained those states. They are on the path to become a stream winner, or they have reached the fruition, or they are on the path to become a non-returner, once returner, or they have reached the fruition of it, or once a non-returner and they have reached the fruition of it, an arahant, and that they have reached the fruition of it. So those 4 individuals with paths and fruition, they are the 8 noble disciples. So noble ones are those ones. You follow them and you learn the teachings from them. When you give a dana, you are giving to them. And that way you make enormous amount of merit. So noble ones is who has no regard for noble ones and is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma, who has no regard for true men. True men is Sappurisa. Sappurisa is a person that cultivates true qualities and follows the 4 noble truths and the Eightfold Path, and is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma. You don't take precepts, you don't have any regard for verses of Dhamma, does not understand what things are fit for attention and what things are unfit for attention. Since that is so, he attends to those things unfit for attention and he does not attend to those things fit for attention. So what are the things for fit for attention? Mindfulness, 7 factors of awakening, Eightfold Path, loving kindness, 4 sublime states. Unfit for attention, wanting to sleep, giving up, chit-chat, sensual desire, anger. These are things that are unfit for attention. What are the things unfit for attention that he attends to? They are things such that when he attends to them, the unarisen taint of sensual desire arises in him, and the arisen taint of sensual desire increases. The unarisen taint of being arises in him, and the arisen taint of being increases. So being, I have to check this word, I guess this is bhava, existence, habitual tendencies. This arises in you and you go on in that loop without you realizing it. This creates a sensual existence or an existence. If you have cultivated jhanas and you are too fond of them, you just take too much delight in it, then you are in that kind of existence, thinking that that is a safe place to be. And then immaterial planes, that's a thing that you can cultivate, immaterial states. That means it's devoid of a contact with the body, like mind forms, mind realms, mental states that you can cultivate, and you exist in that kind of form. There are beings who exist in these planes, and we will learn about them as we discuss the jhanas. maybe tomorrow. Yeah. So being, the unarisen taint of ignorance arises in him. So he takes things personally. That arises. You take things personally and label things as I, me, myself. That happens to you. The unarisen taint of ignorance arises in him, and the arisen taint of ignorance increases. These are the things unfit for attention that he attends to. And what are the things fit for attention that he does not attend to? They are things such that when he attends to them, the unarisen taint of sensual desire does not arise in him. So that is, instead of taking someone or something to be attractive, you look at the impermanence, you look at the repulsive nature, you bring truth to your mind, that the thing that I am getting attracted to has these flaws, but you are not angry with that. You are just seeing the truth. You are just giving your mind a chance to see the truth about this person, this thing, seeing a gray hair or some pimple or something that is ugly in that person. This is called, this is a meditation. For those people who are dealing with sensual desire, that kind of personality should do asubha meditation, not taking things as subha, beautiful, but asubha, not so beautiful. Telling that to your mind constantly, so the mind gets programmed to see that sooner rather than later. So that is a skill that you become skillful that way. It's a skill that you develop. It's a kusala you develop. Kusala. Not akusala. Akusala is being unskillful. The unarisen taint of and the arisen taint of sensual desire is abandoned. The unarisen taint of being. So about sensual desire, if you take 32 reflections, we have it in the Satipatthana Sutta that we will discuss here. So there are ways that if you take, this is about sensual desire. If someone is struggling with that at any point during this retreat, you can, do the 32 contemplating on the 32 parts of a body, human body. You take a tooth, for example, and you look at the color of it, and you look at the place of it. You pay attention to the odor of it, and you pay attention to how much space it takes. And you also look at the shape of it, that they have different shapes. Is this what I am attracted to? You ask that question. So if that person gives me a broken tooth or a smelly, rotten, ugly tooth, do I want to keep it in a bottle and keep smelling it? You ask these questions. Yeah. And then your mind will say, no, I don't want that. This is how you abandon such thoughts. You bring skillful thoughts and skillful thinking, so you are not deluded by them. The unarisen taint of being does not arise in him. So habitual tendencies. The arisen taint of being is abandoned. The unarisen taint of ignorance does not arise in him, and the arisen taint of ignorance is abandoned. These are the things fit for attention that he does not attend to. By attending to things unfit for attention and by not attending to things fit for attention, both unarisen taints arise in him and arisen taints increase. This is how he attends unwisely. Was I in the past? Was I not in the past? What was I in the past? How was I in the past? Having been what? What did I become in the past? Shall I be in the future? Shall I not be in the future? What shall I be in the future? How shall I be in the future? Having been what? What shall I become in the future? Or else he is inwardly perplexed about the present thus. Am I? Am I not? What am I? How am I? Where has this being come from? Where will it go? These are questions that the Buddha said they are not conducive to your nibbana, attaining the true realization. So these questions, when they come to you, you let go, because this is contributing to unwise attention, mental proliferations. These things, the Buddha said, if you think and try to come to a conclusion, you go mad. So don't think. If they are revealed to you in meditation, and that you know is information that you can process with the teacher and understand. But by thinking, it's overthinking. This is something we let go. And this is about your previous lives and the present lives. Abandoning the past. Past cannot be edited. That has already happened. And the future is yet to come. All you have is this moment with millions of opportunities to cultivate wholesome qualities. So you cultivate wholesome qualities, skillful qualities. So there is sanditthika sukha, immediate happiness, because of that. That's a quality that Dhamma has. The moment you siksar, the moment you bring that wholesome smile, you are experiencing the happiness of truth, Dhamma Sukha, happiness of Dhamma. When he attends unwisely in this way, one of 6 views arises in him. The view self exists for me arises in him as true and established, or the view no self exists for me arises in him as true and established, or the view I perceive self with self arises in him as true and established, or the view I perceive not self with self arises in him as true and established, or the view I perceive self with not self arises in him as true and established. Or else he has some such views as this: it is this self of mine that speaks and feels and experiences here and there the result of good and bad actions. But this self of mine is permanent, everlasting, eternal, not subject to change, and it will endure as long as eternity. This speculative view, bhikkhus, is called the thicket of views, the wilderness of views, the contortion of views, the vacillation of views, the fetter of views. Fettered by the fetter of views, the untaught ordinary person is not freed from birth, aging, and death, from sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. He is not freed from suffering, I say. So all these views are to be abandoned, and when you learn the dependent co-arising, you will see that things are dependently arisen and there is cessation of things. And I think you learned that this morning from Bhante's talk. And you will learn more as you practice. Learning Dhamma and carefully understanding Dhamma is important for your progress. And that way you develop 3 aspects: Sila, that is your virtues; Samadhi, that is the collectedness of your mind; and Prajna, Panya, wisdom. So allow these things to become increased, be developed through this practice. Bhikkhus, a well-taught noble disciple who has regard for noble ones and is skilled and disciplined in their Dhamma, who has regard for true men and is skilled and disciplined in their Dhamma, understands what things are fit for attention and what things are unfit for attention. Since that is so, he does not attend to those things unfit for attention, and he attends to those things fit for attention. What are the things unfit for attention that he does not attend to? They are things such that when he attends to them, the unarisen taint of sensual desire arises in him, and the arisen taint of ignorance increases. These are the things unfit for attention, and he does not attend to. And what are the things fit for attention that he attends to? They are things such that when he attends to them, the unarisen taint of sensual desire does not arise in him, and the arisen taint of ignorance is abandoned. These are the things fit for attention that he attends to. By not attending to things unfit for attention, and by attending to things fit for attention, unarisen taints do not arise in him, and arisen taints are abandoned. He attends wisely. This is suffering. He attends wisely. This is the origin of suffering. He attends wisely. This is the cessation of suffering. He attends wisely. This is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. When he attends wisely in this way, 3 fetters are abandoned in him. Personality view, that is taking everything as I, me, and myself. And the other fetter is doubt and adherence to rules and observances, taking them as the only way and not doing any meditation. In those days, during the time of the Buddha, he was taught by some teachers that you can practice self-mortification by giving only suffering to the body, by letting go of food, and by enduring so much pain, you will reach moksha, realization. And he went as far as he could, and he realized that this is the furthest any human has done this kind of practice. He said, this is not the way. You need body energy. You need to have loving kindness to your body and maintain this body and follow the middle path and realize the truth. So he did that. That's how he became awakened. He was taught, if you read Mahasacchaka Sutta, that he was taught that all pleasant feelings are bad. So even the meditation pleasant feelings that he developed, he was taught that they are bad, don't experience them. But he realized that these are rooted in wholesome intentions. Why should I abandon them? So he decided to cultivate them. And then he realized that that is the way to progress in this path. There was no teacher to teach that to him at the time. That's how you see them. So this part about this is suffering, he attends wisely. This is the origin of suffering. So this is the place where you get introduced to the noble truths. So this is suffering. You can see in his first sermon, the Buddha talks about these things. Birth, death. You can say, I don't want to be born. You can say, I don't want to die. You can say, I don't want to get sick. So they happen. When it's out of your control, it brings some pain, suffering. You want to live more, but death is coming. So he saw these things as things that bring suffering to human mind. And you wish something to be this way and that way, that doesn't happen. That brings suffering. And to have to live with people that you don't like, that brings suffering. To separate from, to be separated from loved ones, that brings suffering. And he said, in brief, the 5 clinging aggregates bring suffering. There's clinging to feelings, clinging to forms, clinging to perceptions, clinging to formations, clinging to consciousnesses. These bring suffering. So, seeing that this is where the origin of suffering is, this is where you abandon craving, then there's immediate relief. Instead of liking this, liking that, you see the truth as it arises. There is arising of things, there is cessation of things, right here, right now. For example, you see me and then you hear me. The moment you hear me, the seeing activity ceases. The moment you see me again, the hearing activity ceases. If you only experienced seeing, you will not hear me. So this way you see that a lot of things arise and pass away right here, right now. Just like cell biology, every cell arises, they die, arises, they die. It's every moment. Just need to bring yourself to a, what is it called, a stethoscope, and they will show these changes that are happening. Stethoscope, telescope, microscope. Yeah, I always struggle with these words. Microscope. It gives you a microscopic view of things. So mentally, when you investigate this way, you see that everything that arises, every moment, they arise and pass away. And you didn't invite them to be this way. That's how conditions arise. That's how conditions cease. When conditions are present, they arise. When conditions are not present, they don't arise. If your eyes are closed, there is no seeing activity at all. It's like that. Right now, there is no smelling activity at all. So the physical nose is there, but the nose mentally is not produced. Doesn't exist. So they arise without them having been there before. Can you see that? And we have a tendency to take them personally and get angry and develop a story about them and get very upset. It's like that empty boat story. This monk, he was irritated by every noise he heard. He wanted to meditate in a noise-free place. So he took a boat and went into the middle of a lake and he started meditating. He was happy, noise-free, nothing disturbed him. Within half an hour, noises came. Something was hitting against his boat. He didn't want to break his meditation, but his mind didn't stop developing a story about it. He thought, these must be fishermen. They just don't know how important the work I do here. So soon he found himself getting angry, ready to scream at these imagined fishermen. And when he opened his eyes, he only saw another empty boat. There was no humans. He only imagined their existence. This happens to us all the time. A mind never experiences the full story. It can quickly develop a story that is not true. Imagine humans. Imagine a scene, or that person is an angry person, without knowing that that person was blind. That's why he hit you, or that's why he knocked down your beautiful flower vase. But you translate that to be something else. This happens to we proliferate. Our thoughts create these stories. So he had that realization, and after that he could meditate anywhere. In the seen, there is only the seen. In the heard, there is only the heard. In the felt, there is only the felt. With that realization, he cooled down. He had that ability to stay calm in all situations. Taints to be abandoned by restraining. What taints bhikkhus should be abandoned by restraining? Here, a bhikkhu, reflecting wisely, abides with the eye faculty restrained, while taints, vexation, and fever might arise in one who abides with the eye faculty unrestrained. So fever here is to want more, the heat, the need. With the eye faculty unrestrained, there are no taints, vexation or fever. While taints, vexation, and fever might arise in one who abides with the eye faculty unrestrained, there are no taints, vexation, or fever in one who abides with the eye faculty restrained. You see something, you drop it there. It's like those two monks crossing the river, and they see a woman, and the senior monk decides to help her cross the river. The junior monk gets very upset that the senior monk touched that woman, and he became silent, did not say anything, but it was in the air that this monk was upset. After reaching their destination, the senior monk broke the silence. "What's the matter?" And the junior monk said, "You touched that woman. You are not supposed to." And the senior monk said, I did touch her, but I left her on the other side of the river. It seems like you are still carrying her." So whatever you see, you just drop it. Drop it there. Don't carry it all day. Just drop it. Reflecting wisely, he abides with the ear faculty restrained, with the nose faculty restrained, with the tongue faculty restrained, while taints, vexation, with the mind faculty restrained, 6 faculties. While taints, vexation, and fever might arise in one who abides with the faculties unrestrained, there are no taints, vexation, or fever in one who abides with the faculties restrained. These are called the taints that should be abandoned by restraining. Taints to be abandoned by using. What taints bhikkhus should be abandoned by using? Here, a bhikkhu, reflecting wisely, uses the robe only for protection from cold, for protection from heat, for protection from contact with gadflies, mosquitoes, wind, the sun, and creeping things, and only for the purpose of concealing the private parts. Reflecting wisely, he uses alms food, neither for amusement, nor for intoxication, nor for the sake of physical beauty and attractiveness, but only for the endurance and continuance of this body, for ending discomfort, and for assisting the holy life. Considering thus, I shall terminate old feelings without arousing new feelings, and I shall be healthy and blameless and shall live in comfort. Reflecting wisely, he uses the resting place only for protection from cold, for protection from heat, for protection from contact with gadflies, mosquitoes, wind, the sun, and creeping things, and only for the purpose of warding off the perils of climate and for enjoying retreat. Reflecting wisely, he uses the medicinal requisites only for protection from arisen afflicting feelings and for the benefit of good health. While taints, vexation, and fever might arise in one who does not use the requisites thus, there are no taints, vexation, or fever in one who vexation, right? Yeah. Or fever in one who uses them thus. These are called the taints that should be abandoned by using. So, the basic idea here is keeping your precepts and keeping your senses restrained, and you are continuously thinking like a monk here. You touch here and you realize that you have no hair, that you have become different, and that there is a purpose, there is a goal that you are seeking. That way, you know you are not going back. You are not going back to the old habitual ways of indulging, wanting more, getting that fever activated in you, thirst for more. Taints to be abandoned by enduring. What taints bhikkhus should be abandoned by enduring? Here a bhikkhu, reflecting wisely, bears cold and heat, hunger and thirst, and contact with gadflies, mosquitoes, wind, the sun, and creeping things. He endures ill-spoken, unwelcome words and arisen bodily feelings that are painful, racking, sharp, piercing, disagreeable, distressing, and menacing to life, while taints, vexation, and fever might arise in one who does not endure such things. There are no taints, vexation, or fever in one who endures them. These are called the taints that should be abandoned by enduring. David.
Well, I was just considering the other day how important enduring is, because in the meditation there's a lot of stuff we have to endure. And a lot of these things we don't really understand what enduring is. If we get restless, we get up. If we get a heavy emotion, we get up. I mean, most anything seems to get us going. But in fact, if we can overcome by just sitting there and not doing anything, that's half the battle or all of the battle.
Yeah.
So that's my take on enduring.
Let's do that. Endure. Sit longer, another 10 minutes, another 10 minutes. We all have done that, and we can do it. It's like waiting for someone who went shopping. You are in the car. Another 10 minutes, another 10 minutes. You can do that. You can do that here. What taints? This is about taints to be abandoned by avoiding. What taints bhikkhus should be abandoned by avoiding? Here a bhikkhu reflecting wisely avoids a wild elephant. We don't have them here. You're not in Sri Lanka or Africa or Dehradun, Rishikesh. They have elephants. Wild horse, a wild bull, a wild dog, a snake, a stump, a bramble patch, a chasm, a cliff, a cesspit, a sewer. Reflecting wisely, he avoids sitting on unsuitable seats, wandering to unsuitable resorts, and associating with bad friends, since if he were to do so, wise companions in the holy life might suspect him of evil conduct, while taints, vexation and fever might arise in one who does not avoid these things. There are no taints, vexation and fever in one who avoids them. These are called the taints that should be abandoned by avoiding. Avoid what you have to avoid. Taints to be abandoned by removing. What taints bhikkhus should be abandoned by removing? Here a bhikkhu reflecting wisely does not tolerate an arisen thought of sensual desire. He abandons it. You see what you have to do here. Removes it, does away with it, annihilates it. He does not tolerate an arisen thought of ill will. He does not tolerate an arisen thought of cruelty. That means you have compassion. Abandon cruelty and you cultivate compassion. You see others are suffering. You don't want to add to that suffering. Just bring compassion to your heart. This is again being on the Eightfold Path and siksaring and bringing something wholesome. The smile, loving kindness continuously. He does not tolerate arisen evil, unwholesome states. He abandons them, removes them, does away with them, and annihilates them, while taints, vexation, and fever might arise in one who does not remove these thoughts. See, thoughts, these are thoughts, they come as thoughts. There are no taints, vexation, or fever in one who removes them. These are called the taints that should be abandoned by removing. Last one, taints to be abandoned by developing. What taints bhikkhus should be abandoned by developing? Here a bhikkhu, reflecting wisely, develops the mindfulness, enlightenment factor, sati, presence, full presence of your mind. And I'll tell a story about it later. So mind develops a mindfulness enlightenment factor, which is supported by seclusion, dispassion, and cessation. So mindfulness supported by seclusion, dispassion, and cessation, and ripens in relinquishment. Remember these words. Seclusion, dispassion, cessation, and that kind of mindfulness that ripens in relinquishment. So, what is mindfulness? Remembering to observe how mind's attention moves from one thing to another. That is Bhante's definition of mindfulness. Remembering to observe how mind's attention moves from one thing to another. It's called sati in Pali. Sati also means the presence of your mind, giving your full mind, full-mindedness is another way to translate it. Guess the story is the thing, I like to associate that story with this door here. You can open this door, brrrt, making a noise. You can open it with gentle, kind, no noise way, taking time. Try to do that. So this story may come to your mind when you do that. And I have been practicing this for a couple of years now. That there was this young novice monk who was very small, very young. And because he was so young, his teacher didn't give him any tasks. But one day the teacher thought that now he is ready to do some small tasks. And the teacher also sensed that the novice monk wanted to do things. You know, when you are small, you want to help parents doing big things sometimes. So this one day the teacher told this young monk, "My dear child, come. Can you bring the meditation bell?" So the little monk got so excited. How my teacher is giving me a responsibility. He's accepting me as like those senior monks. He got excited. He slammed the door behind and he ran towards the Dhamma hall to get the meditation bell. And the teacher stopped him again. "My dear child, come back. Now close the door again." He learned that there is a message behind this. He closed the door with full of his presence, giving full attention, no rush, with sati, with mindfulness, with full-mindedness. And his teacher never had to remind him again. Such a simple task taught him a lifetime lesson. And he became a big teacher one day, and he was known as Thich Nhat Hanh. You know him. And he was traveling the world teaching these simple lessons. And he happened to be friends with Thomas Merton. He was visiting Connecticut, where Thomas had a Trappist monastery where he lived and taught at. And Thich Nhat Hanh shared this childhood experience with Thomas. And Thomas said, "You know, before you even tell this to me, I saw how much time, patience you gave to such a simple activity." And he felt so inspired. So when Thich Nhat Hanh went back to France, to his monastery called Plum Village, Thomas wanted to teach something to his students. So he shared this exchange and the story with his congregation. And there was this Catholic lady who felt so inspired by this. You know how children, when they come home from school, they slam the door, run into the bathroom, sprinkle water all over the place. No regard for parents, throw their shoes in, one shoe in one place, another shoe in the kitchen, There's no presence of mind for these simple activities at all. These are not being taught in schools. So this lady, the German lady, felt so inspired, and she flew to France to see how Thich Nhat Hanh closed the door. So when you do these simple activities, when you bring your full presence of mind, not like rushing to get things done, you slow down, you take life by moment, and you start having you for you. You are there, fully there. You are just not rushing for everything. That patience, that one activity you do, it's really important. So no one jumps in your presence, and you are not sending a message to someone by slamming the door. When you are slamming the door, you are sending a message, right? That shows that you are angry. It's not the case that the door is angry with you. The door remains as is, but you are angry or you are in a rush. So that's what we mean by life is meditation, meditation is life. Everything you do is mindfulness, cultivating something wholesome, having loving kindness in your heart is a way of life, super important. And we must teach these things to children. They are as important as the 12th grade exams and going to college and whatnot, MCAT and everything. So mindfulness, enlightenment factor, even when you are closing that door with full mindfulness, you have it supported by seclusion, supported by dispassion, cessation, ripens in relinquishment. So you are letting go of anger in that moment. You are letting go of desires, wanting things to be this way or that way, taking things personally. You're just using that one moment to touch enlightenment, be free, not be burdened at all. And he develops the investigation of states, enlightenment factor. This is an enlightenment factor. This is the second factor of enlightenment. Bojjhanga. These are called Bodhi Angas. Anga means a factor. Bodhi is awakening. So when you have developed the presence of your mind, you can now pay close attention to things and understand. For example, you look at the seeing activity. There is the physical eye. There are forms and objects and visuals and colors and shapes. And you investigate what connects the two. And you understand that, there is I consciousness that must be manifested for you to make a contact with the external world. When these things come together, there is a contact. What things? The I, the visuals, and the I consciousness. You have to be conscious. Then there is a contact. With contact as condition, there is a feeling. With feelings as condition, there can be craving. With craving as condition, there is clinging. With clinging as condition, there is pain, sorrow, lamentation, grief, despair, and the whole mass of suffering arises. So feelings, when we say feelings, is pleasant feelings, painful feelings, neither painful nor pleasant feelings. So these are states that you investigate, and seeing the mechanism behind this process, and seeing that you didn't invite them to behave this way, but they are happening this way, and they are also ceasing. It's holding. Rejoicing, complete cessation. The energy enlightenment factor, the rapture enlightenment factor. So these are given in brief. Energy is virya. Energy arises when you develop, when you let go of indulging in sensual desires and so on and so forth. There is a kind of energy that you will develop on the second day. From the second day, this is the second day. From today, you develop that kind of energy. You are not tired. Even with no sleep, you don't feel too tired because of the meditation energy that you have cultivated. The rapture enlightenment factor, that's piti. That arises because you are withdrawn from the world, and naturally there is a kind of piti, rapture, that arises. The tranquility enlightenment factor, collectedness, stillness, The concentration enlightenment factor, this is samadhi, and the equanimity enlightenment factor, upekha, they arise, which is supported by seclusion, dispassion, and cessation, and ripens in relinquishment. While taints, vexation, and fever might arise in one who does not develop these enlightenment factors, there are no taints, vexation, or fever in one who develops them. These are called the taints that should be abandoned by developing. So you see how important it is to siksar and continuously develop and be in a meditation, no matter what you do in life. So this is the conclusion part. Because when for a bhikkhu the taints that should be abandoned by seeing have been abandoned by seeing, when the taints that should be abandoned by restraining have been abandoned by restraining, when the taints that should be abandoned by using have been abandoned by using, when the taints that should be abandoned by enduring have been abandoned by enduring, when the taints that should be abandoned by avoiding have been abandoned by avoiding, when the taints that should be abandoned by removing have been abandoned by removing, when the taints that should be abandoned by developing have been abandoned by developing, then he is called a bhikkhu who dwells restrained with the restraint of all taints. He has severed craving. I studied at Harvard, but my English is not up to Harvard level. Severed, right? Severed craving. Flung off the fetters, and with the complete penetration of conceit. See, these are other fetters. Conceit, mana. He has made an end of suffering. So their conceit is thinking that I am an arahant. I am on the path to become an arahant. I am a stream winner. Oh, I am this, I am that. Measuring, comparing, thinking that you are inferior, or thinking that you are superior, or thinking that you are equal. All these are different ways that we measure, and you abandon that because you realize that we are all experiencing the world the same way, suffering the same way, and that there is no division, duality, or discrimination in that understanding. That is what the Blessed One said. The bhikkhus were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. So very, very straightforward teaching here, so that monks can go and sit and meditate. Or if they are not meditating, they have 6 other ways to deal with their defilements. Questions?
When you say sadhu, the word sadhu, what does that mean?
Sadhu means well done, well done, well done. It is to say, I rejoice in this good karma of listening to a talk, giving, receiving, somebody practicing generosity, somebody doing a good karma, so it's sadhu. Monks are also, in India, there are sadhus, and they are monks in India. I think sometimes Sri Lankans also call us sadhus because they travel to India and they see us wearing robes and they are wearing robes, and but the Sri Lankan society now discourage that word being used for monks. So to be different from those sadhus and saying that, no, don't say that, say something like Swamin Vahansa or Hamduru or something different. That's in the local language, Sinhalese language. So sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Is there a different spelling
Yeah, so it's SADHU, and this one, I guess it's the same. It's the same, yeah. Yeah, no difference in spelling, yeah.
Maybe Sanskrit versus Pali?
No, both have the same
Same.
spellings, yeah. But I can look it up and see if they are, yeah, Venerable Upali.
These awakening factors of piti, tranquility, aren't those descriptions of the jhanas?
Yeah, you are in jhanas when you have piti and tranquility. Which jhana is it? Can you tell?
The piti usually rises in the
First jhana. Vivekajang piti sukhang patamajhanang upasampajya viharati. Vivekajang means born of viveka, born of seclusion. Piti sukhang, together they arise. Joy and happiness. And then patamajhanang, first jhana. Upasampajya, having entered, viharati, you dwell. You enjoy the first jhana, having entered it. So, yes. And the second jhana, samadhi jang piti sukhang. So in the second jhana, there is happiness and piti, rapture, born of samadhi, born of your stillness. Previously it was born of seclusion. You know, when you are a lay person, you have to go to work and do all these things, but the moment you enter the forest and come to Dhamma Sukha, there is a kind of happiness. The moment you put your cell phone into that envelope. So Thomas was telling, I am so excited for 10 days with no phone, and I'm sure when I turn it on, I'll have 1200 things to respond to, you see? So, seclusion, there is kind of happiness, rapture that you experience when you turn it off and take a break. Otherwise, it's a continuous distraction. You can't give your full mind to things. Yeah.
With the practice of the spiritual friend,
Yeah.
is that a way of cultivating loving kindness and friendliness towards others? It's like as you practice, you're strengthening that muscle.
Yeah. When you radiate loving kindness, friendliness to your spiritual friend, you are cultivating that feeling, and naturally you are the first person to benefit from it. And that way you are dealing with others with that kind of mental state, and that naturally radiates out from you, and others are sensing that. So we are heading in that direction, and soon when you come for the interviews tomorrow, I ask these questions. How long, what was your longest sitting, and how long you were able to stay on the object of meditation, that is your spiritual friend, the longest, and what if anything strange happened or any questions. So based on your answers, we give you more instructions to go further. So tomorrow interviews start, 15 minutes for each person, and you can expect in a wholesome way to progress further in your practice. Yeah.
As we just said, we're trying to develop loving kindness and seeing the good things in other people and ourselves. How does then engaging in this practice of becoming disenchanted about the body and about also other people not to be
Attracted to?
attracted to them?
Yeah.
How does that not
So, first of all, these teachings are given directly to monks, and monks need to hear these teachings and deal with their sensual desire. They are still thinking of their former girlfriend, like it happened to the Prince Nanda and many others. So we look at the repulsiveness of the body, and that has an effect on your mind immediately to overcome that strong hindrance. Temporarily though, it's not a permanent thing. But if you work steadily on that defilement, on that hindrance, of course you may overcome it permanently. If you can do that in this retreat, there will be an arahant or an anagami in this retreat. So, dealing with others, that's a very good way to deal with others. Why? That person you are attracted to, if he doesn't know, if she doesn't know that you are attracted to this person, and you develop a tendency to think and feel infatuated or stalk that person, or these are yeah. So if you have that, if you develop that kind of unwholesome states, I think that's a wholesome way to interact with others. But you are not dealing with them, you are not dealing with them, you are actually dealing with them in a wholesome way. You look at them as a spiritual friend, as a companion in this journey, who is trying to overcome their suffering as you do. And after the retreat, you go back to your living as a lay person, and you live with your family, and so you may not necessarily practice this way. You will keep your loving kindness going towards them, but cultivating repulsiveness of bodies is necessary only at times when you are dealing with strong sensual desire. When you overcome it, you don't need to do that anymore. So that way you can interact with the society. You see, these unwanted companions in the holy life might suspect him of evil conduct. See, you are wandering to unsuitable places. You want to hang around these unwanted people because of some desire that you have in mind, and others see this and they think that, oh, this person is dealing with some desire, some wanting some alcohol or something. That's why they go to these places. So the world is watching, although they don't speak that way. So that's the wrong way to interact with people, and the right way is to let go and understand that my mind has to be at ease. I have to experience dispassion, relinquishment, letting go, and be free. And that way you can interact with the world with a pure heart, with no conditions. Did I answer your question?
I always feel this tension of, as you also do this with your own body, and you look at all the sinews, and you look at everything in a kind of disgusted kind of way, instead of like having to your body gratitude that it actually enables you to sit. And these two things are always kind of like tensing. I can't quite bring them but I understand what you said.
Yeah.
I understand this specific kind of
Intention. Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
It's just we also do this to become enchanted about the world.
Yeah.
Not getting drawn in by the objects.
Yeah.
And so these two attitudes of, on one hand, loving kindness and being kind and grateful to all things.
Yeah.
On the other side, like now to hinder yourself not to get drawn in and rely on them.
Yeah.
And so now you have to do
Yeah, I think cultivating, you said gratitude, right? Gratitude to the body, yeah. That's a very good thing to cultivate. Being grateful to this body for good health and appreciating this body. It's not attachment, it's rooted in wholesome intentions. And that other practice of seeing the true nature of body also has a good intention, that is to overcome strong sensual desire. That's it. And to bring your heart to purity. And it will be temporary unless you continuously practice it and completely abandon any involvement with sensual desire. But you don't have any aversion toward the body. You still see what is beautiful as beautiful, also see what is ugly as beautiful, because of this development of wisdom. That's the beauty of this practice. So if you can take notes, you write down page 1609 of Sanyutta Nikaya. There is a sutta called Accompanied by Loving Kindness. In it, when you develop loving kindness, you develop your mind to a beautiful state in which you can see the ugliest thing as the most beautiful thing in the world. The most beautiful thing as the ugliest thing in the world. You are not bothered by it. You see the true nature of things. You take a flower and you see what a beautiful thing this is. Also you see that it withers, it is subject to impermanence, and it has these micro beings that are living in there, and it's not beautiful to you anymore. So you develop both minds. And then you have that gratitude for the existence of this flower, for being there, for you to experience this. And the tension dissolves. The tension, you can siksar it when you experience it.
Why do human beings engage in craving? Is it because we don't know better?
Yeah, because of ignorance, not knowing, ignoring the truth. So Bhante Gunaratana from Bhavana Society in West Virginia, he wrote an article about how both parents, mother is the craving and father is the ignorance, give birth to the child called I, me, myself. So both craving and ignorance side by side protect this child all the time. Take this personally, take that personally, or reject it, don't refuse it, be angry about it. So this is the work of that craving and ignorance. So he said, craving is on from this side, ignorance is on that other side. I is the child, I is in the center. So he said, onion is born. On, I, on. Onion is born. He's very creative with words like that. So ignoring, not knowing is the reason. That's why in dependent origination, ignorance comes first, not knowing any of these things. Never having heard the true teachings, truth. And we just live the world the way it is given to us, presented to us. And we use the language using conventional language, and we go on. It's ignorance and craving that are those are the mothers and fathers. And we are eliminating both ignorance and craving by learning the Dhamma, abandoning anger, abandoning hindrances, and clearing your mind so that your path ahead is clear and that you are able to see truth more clearly. Yeah.
What is the image on the wall?
The Bodhi leaf is the Bodhi tree. Is the Bodhi? It's called Bodhi tree because it's the tree under which the Buddha became enlightened. And I think Bhante initially did not want statues here. Many temples have statues, but they never practice meditation. Most temples now, they are concrete forests. With all respect to what the services they do. So, looking at a statue or just doing the actual practice like we do here, he drew that distinction, margin, and he wanted this place to be not a place of worship where you do rituals, chantings and all that. You can do it, but that's not the only thing that we should be doing. Practice. The Buddha said, you can bring flowers to me, you can bring candles, lights, fragrances, many other gifts to me, but I won't be happy unless you practice and you offer the practice to me. That will make me happy. So, that's why we have a leaf here.
Is it a wheel inside?
There is a wheel, that's the Dhamma wheel, that's the Eightfold Path. If you count the spokes, there are 8 of these, that's the Eightfold Path. So the first sermon of the Buddha is called Dhamma Chakka Pavattana Sutta. So Dhamma Chakka is Dhamma wheel, Pavattana is setting it in motion. So when he taught it, it keeps teaching up until now. And it will continue to teach. So that wheel is turning still. Many monks are realizing Dhamma and teaching Dhamma. Many lay teachers are realizing Dhamma and teaching. And that's what the Buddha wanted the 4 assemblies to do. Monks should teach, nuns should teach, lay men should teach, lay women should teach, having learned it and practiced it properly. No questions came from this side. Okay.
I missed the final
Sure.
awakening factor. Could you repeat that one for me?
The equanimity, awakening factor, right?
Yeah, that's not on.
It's not there?
Oh no, I missed it on my notes.
Oh, equanimity, awakening factor. Yeah.
What is Nibbana?
Ni means no, bhana means fire, no fire, it's cooling off. It's called siti bhuta in Pali, a state of cooling off. So what fires do we have? What did you say?
He said it's his sign.
It's the sign that I put down on the road.
Oh yeah, the sign, did you see that sign?
What is that?
By the creek with the Buddha statue, there's Nibbana sign.
I actually read it in
Yeah, of course. Somewhere else.
Yeah, of course.
in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, anger is a fire that keeps us burning. So is sensual desire, the thirst that people feel. And delusion, these are fires. Lobha, dosa, moha, these fires. And the moment you let go of anger and cultivate loving kindness, you are experiencing a glimpse of Nibbana, freedom from those fires. So no fire. It's called, there are many synonyms for Nibbana. Nibbana, Amata, Amata is ambrosia. Ajata, something that which is not born. Asankata, the unconditionality. You can find a couple of thousand of those terms that try to explain what Nibbana is. Nibbana is another term. Sivangatang, Shiva in India is also a higher state, but Sivangatang is entering a purity, pure state. That's your mind entering those states.
Is
Yeah.
Nirvana the same word as Nirvana?
Yeah. Or I can say no, Nirvana is a chain of restaurants. No, Nirvana is the Sanskrit word. Also the Sinhalese word. Nibbana is the Pali word.
But they mean the same thing.
They mean the same thing. Nir comes from Sanskrit. Nirvana, Nirvana, same thing. That's a good time for us to conclude. Let's share some merits. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. Happy meditation. You can now get up and stretch and radiate loving kindness to your body.